Hello, and welcome to episode 49 of the Herald's Horn. On this one, Emma and I chop it up about the Pro Tour. You really, as usual, get to see how much more Emma knows about me than constructed Magic at any one point in time. We also talk about the Spider-Man secret lairs and who are actually the top 5 greatest Magic the Gathering players of all time. It doesn't matter. What does it mean to be great? Who is the best? Who is my, Cal's, favorite player, independent of who is the best? All of that and more on this episode of the Herald's Horn. But first, I want to say really quickly, thank you so much, everyone, for coming back and listening to the show. I'm going to start doing a bit of a Patreon push here because I love making this show, but I do not love editing it as I get busier and busier with other let's say more profitable projects and return to more normal work structures as well. I don't exactly have the time to edit it anymore. You may have already noticed there wasn't an interview last week. You may have noticed that the show last week was pretty short. You may have noticed that we are currently doing every other week. Basically, all of that boils down to this is the time I have to edit the show. All of that to say, if we manage to get enough Patreon support, we can take the show weekly again. We can have some more interviews again. Basically, all the time that I would spend editing, I could instead use that time to make more cool Herald's Horn stuff and pay someone else to do the part of the show that I don't have very much time to do. You can go ahead and check out the Patreon in the description if that interests you at all. Thank you so much already to our Patreon supporters who are here. Without any further ado, let's get into the show. Hello, it's time for the Herald's Horn. My name is Cal Jones, and today I'm joined by the wonderful Emma. Say hello, Emma.
Hello, Emma.
Emma, what's hip? What's happening?
It's Spider-Man's release week, therefore I am busy with all of the spiders and all of the mans. And there's so many cards called with the name Spider in it, by the way, for a 100-ish card set.
I think it's 38. There are 38 varietals of Spider-Man in the 188 card set.
Unbelievable.
Run the song. And welcome back. As always, we are going to jump directly into the news, but first, a small call to action to you. My favorite section of this show is the letter to the editor, because I get to hear a question from you, and then I get to force Emma and Dan to answer it, which I think is great fun. Sure. We need more letter to the editor questions, commentary, whatever. Leave it in the YouTube comments. Leave it in my Blue Sky replies.
Leave it in my Blue Sky replies. I'll take it.
Yes, send them to Emma. Anywhere related to the Herald's Horn podcast, leave a question there, and we very well may read it on the show, unless you send it to Dan. I don't think Dan will send it to me. But we need more letters to the editor, and hey, send them in. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, the news. There is really big news this week, and by really big news, I mean a really big event. This coming weekend, MagicCon Atlanta will be going on in, Atlanta.
Wow.
It takes place from the 26th through the 28th, Friday through Sunday. And this would normally be the part where I'm like, come see me. Haha, Emma and Dan, are you going to be there? No. But I will not be there either because I will be attending and being in the wedding of a very good friend. Congratulations, Ethan, 2 days early. Me and Zeb, good buddy Zeb, will not be at Atlanta like we normally would be, but it'll be a grand old time. But if you're going to go to MagicCon Atlanta, I have some advice for you. The artists is what's worth your time. Visit an artist, stand in line, shake their hand, say hello to them, get a signature, buy an artist proof, buy a print.
Get them a tip.
I simply have never... What? Yeah, leave a tip. Exactly. I have spent a lot of time at big Magic events. I have regretted the way I've spent my time often. I have never regretted standing in an artist line, even in instances of like when I was in John Avon's or Rebecca Guai's line for 4 hours. Did my ankles hurt a little bit? Yeah. Was it fun? Yeah. Do I look at my like foil predicts and my foil unstable islands and go, ooh, with the signatures on them, or like my vertical Island playmat from John Avon or whatever. I wanted to buy a Rebecca Guai artist proof, but unfortunately I was about $450 light for that. I do love to look at those and go, yeah, that's awesome. And that and drinking beer on a hotel floor and playing Magic the Gathering at like 2:00 in the morning. That's how you should be spending your time at MagicCon. Emma, do you have any MagicCon tips, pro tips, big Magic event pro tips?
The biggest tip I can give if you go to any event, not necessarily just a MagicCon, but a Magic event, bring an extra deck box. You're gonna have more cards than you realize. Even if you don't intend to buy anything, you will have more cards. You will leave with more cards.
You'll be handed a booster pack without expecting it. You'll decide at the last second to play in a draft.
You will pick up a card from a vendor. We've all been there.
Yep.
Yeah, just pack an empty deck box. Maybe with a couple of sleeves in there in case you open something or find something high value. You're welcome.
Great tip, Emma. The way it was going, I thought you were going to say drink water. And I mean, like, okay.
You should also drink water, but deck box, like extra deck box, it's been a lifesaver for me at events because the last thing you want is if you buy like a really nice card, you don't want to slide it into a deck that you have.
Like you slide it into the back of a deck box, it might bend, or like you're like, man, where was that? And then the next time you pull out that deck 2.5 months later, you're like, oh, the $200 reserve list card that I bought.
Or it's like, say, like I put something in a pauper deck and I shuffle up and it's the same thing. It's like, why is this Cavern of Souls in my pauper deck? I bought this at MagicCon Chicago last year, sort of thing. So yeah, just like a spare deck box, it goes a long way, and you will just have more random cards than you realize.
Definitely agree. Good tip, Emma. Thank you very much. The main attraction at MagicCon for us sickos, and especially for all of those people at home who are maybe wishing they were there. I think the second biggest event remaining on Magic's calendar for the rest of the year, including Worlds. Worlds is still this year, right?
December. Early December.
Okay. Yep.
In Bellevue, I believe it's a close event this year.
Fascinating. That would make sense because there's no MagicCon for it to be at.
Yep.
So the Pro Tour Edge of Eternities is this weekend. You will be able to watch it. Coverage will be going on from 9/26 Friday through 9/28 on Sunday. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern on the first 2 days and 10 a.m. Eastern on the third. As usual, day 1 and day 2 are going to feature 3 rounds of Edge of Eternities booster draft, followed by 6 rounds of constructed. You too can confirm these numbers by looking at the wonderful viewer's guide that they publish. It'll answer all of your questions about actually, where can I find this? What is going to be, when is it going to be live on Twitch? What will they be showing every day, etc., etc. 5 rounds of constructed. My bad. The beatings of Cal getting constructed details will be wrong until morale improves, or until I do the long overdue add a co-host who's a constructed Magic specialist rather than a generalist.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty excited about this Pro Tour because I think this is going to be one of the more unique Pro Tours that we've had in a good long while for 2 reasons. Number 1, Edge of Eternities is the draft format. Edge of Eternities is it's not an old set, but by Pro Tour standards, it's an old set. It's been out since the end of July.
A standard set would be out that exact weekend. So it technically is an old set because it's Spider-Man release weekend. So, as the sun sets on Marvel Spider-Man, we're drafting Edge of Eternities.
Exactly. But there was a lot of speculation about when they announced the Pro Tour Edge of Eternities, there was a lot of speculation of why isn't it going to be Spider-Man? Well, we now know it's because Spider-Man is not a traditionally draftable
it would not be,
deck.
You can do an 8-player draft, it just would not be good coverage or good content.
Yes, it would not be good coverage. Bad. I'm sure a lot of the players would not love it.
Correct.
And that is a much better Occam's razor explanation than what a lot of people are speculating, are like, is the IP deal so bad that Wizards literally can't put Pro Tour Marvel Spider-Man?
MagicCon is Spider-Man related. The badges you get at MagicCon Atlanta have Spider-Men on them, like Cosmic Spider-Man's on one of the lanyards, for example. So Spider-Man is a thing at the MagicCon. It's just the the competitive side of it is Edge of Eternities, which is very good in my opinion. It's what a lot of people want, players otherwise.
Yeah, I am honestly, I said on the last episode that like I was kind of ticked off that we happened to take a break largely for the runtime of what has been one of my favorite Magic sets in a while. And even if it may not be the most exceptional draft format that we have seen this year, it still seems to be a good draft format that people like well enough. And it will be very interesting for me to see what. This has been the first time in a while now where we've seen a Pro Tour where the draft portion, you know, maybe in the past, in the recent past, teams have gotten like 3 weeks of prep, maybe 4 weeks of prep, but this time they have months of prep.
Yeah, it's very unusual to have a Pro Tour where the limited portion is so solved. One of the exciting things I find when I watch a Pro Tour, I love limited as well. So I like watching the draft portion. I love seeing like Reduke or, you know, like who's like, what are they picking? Coverage does a really good job of like spotlighting when they're drafting. And usually you have like 2 weeks between like pre-release to the Pro Tour. So you basically have 2 weeks to work with the set. And I find that really exciting because things haven't been solved yet, and there's a lot of figuring things out. And while things are going to be very solved with Edge of Eternities, it's like I still think the gameplay is going to be good. I think the limited format is pretty good. Nothing's going to beat Final Fantasy because I think Final Fantasy is like a top 5 limit set of all time, period. But I think it's going to be really fun. There's some cool gameplay, and I'm excited to see what happens. It's definitely going to be better than Spider-Man could have been. So,
yes, and I think it would have been like, I don't think embarrassing to see Spider-Man on like the Pro Tour stage, but it's like, I don't know, it would be hard to call it embarrassing if like it literally just was not designed to support an 8-player draft at the FNM level, much less with people who have qualified for the Pro Tour trying to break it. So I'm happy this is where we have ended up. But like you said, it will be, I think, interesting kind of, you know, because we haven't seen a solved format in a while, but I have much preferred, like, you know, the chatter in the upcoming to the Pro Tour of like, oh man, is someone really going to figure something out? Is blue as bad as 17 lands users think it is? Is someone going to be able to nail the perfect Simic draft and do well unexpectedly? Yeah, exactly.
The way I'm choosing to see this, it seems really weird to have Edge of Eternities, which is kind of an old standard set because Spider-Man's out on the same weekend. I'm kind of seeing it as Edge of Eternities finally gets the spotlight it deserves after getting the previews with Spider-Man, the previews with Avatar, all this stuff that was laid in way in advance before Edge of Eternities came out. And it's actually great to have a weekend where we can talk about how great Edge of Eternities is. And there's no licensing issues, so the coverage team can be unabashedly like talk about it because it's a Wizards property. We don't have that awkwardness like we have with Pro Tour Final Fantasy that we can talk about the characters because licensing and all this stuff. So it's going to feel like I don't think this is the right word, but it's going to feel like a genuine Pro Tour because we've got a Magic IP. The coverage team can be very unabashed and very sort of straightforward with it and hype it up without worrying about any fallback, about any loopholes with narratives or whatever or so forth. So I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm a big Pro Tour fan. I love competitive Magic. I'm such a nerd for it. I will watch all of it while being at Command Fest. I'm also at Command Fest this weekend. So I'm going to try and sneak some Pro Tour watching in while
coverage on
while playing some Commander. So.
Well, in addition to all of that stuff that you said, Emma, the constructed portion for this event is going to be the much beloved Modern. It's been a minute since it's been a second since we've gotten a little bit more of a spotlight on Modern beyond obviously, you know, the Modern RCQ season and RC season. The metagame of this Modern Pro Tour It seems like pretty varied. I know people were really mad about Modern a few months ago, and some people were calling for some Boros energy bans, and all that kind of stuff. But it feels like, Boros has like remained the obvious, like, most popular deck, but like there's Belcher. Tron is kind of good and popular again. There's like a cool up and coming affinity deck that tries to break Pinnacle Emissary.
That's a sweet deck.
Exactly.
The cool thing about Modern right now, which is something, again, as you rightly said, wouldn't have happened like 3-4 months ago. We're talking about post Underworld Breach ban. So when Teemo Breach was banned, and it rightly should have been banned because that card is messed up, Boros, and it kept Teemo Breach kept Boros Energy in check because Teemo Breach had an insanely good matchup against Boros Energy. So not many people played Boros Energy because why would you? You just play the broken thing until it's banned, right? Since that ban, Boros Energy has very much come back. And while, yes, it is like the most represented deck, it's basically the Jund of Modern 2025. It's the deck that has a lot of game against most of the format. It's not incredible, but it's not terrible either. It's the safe bet of the format. So it's very familiar to Jund back in the 2010s. But the cool thing about Modern right now is that you can play one of 10 decks and you can do really well. So you have Boros Energy, you have Belcher, you've got Goryo's Vengeance or Esper Blink, you've got Domain Zoo, you've got Ruby Storm, you've got the Affinity deck that you talked about. There's Amulet Titan, which is always threatening to win an event. You've also got Prowess, which uses Corey Steelcar, and you've got Grixis Reanimator as well.
There's like a even like a Quantum Riddler Esper deck now too, right?
And one thing about Modern Pro Tour specifically is pro players love playing Tron. So I'm expecting it to be one of the two most registered decks over the weekend. Eldrazi Tron being the better version right now, just because you have Syra 7 Deaths, you've got Ugin's Labyrinth, you've got all this disrupted package while also being aggressive.
Command, you've got insane spell.
You've got Ugin. You got the new Ugin from Tarkir Dragonstorm, which is just a hell of a payoff. Khan Liberated, you had your time in the sun. So yeah, when it comes to Modern Pro Tours, pro players love playing Tron. They just naturally gravitate towards it. It happened in 2023 when we had Pro Tour Tales of Middle-earth. There was a lot of Tron at that Pro Tour in Barcelona. So I'm expecting the same here. I'm expecting to see a lot of Eldrazi Tron. I'm expecting to see a lot of Boros Energy. And I would not be surprised if we see some mix of Esper Blink and Esper Goyos. But I'm going to put money that there will be an Amulet Titan deck in the top 8 because it always is.
Oh, there always is.
There's always just this one cracked person in the corner that's just like been playing Amulet Time for like 5 years. Maybe it's Dom Harvey. If Dom Harvey's in the Pro Tour, it's probably Dom Harvey.
Yeah. Yep. I was reading Frank Karsten's Metagame Mentor article going into the Pro Tour, talking of awesome Pro Tour coverage. And he basically listed and predicted that there would be like 15 major like archetype decks that he kind of anticipated to see at this Pro Tour.
I'm looking at Gold,
which is nuts.
NTG Goldfish. You've got the Neobrand combo deck, which is great. You've got Dimir Murktide, which uses Psychic Frog. That's like a Dimir control deck. There's a lot of cool things you can do in Modern right now. It's unlikely we're going to see anything fresh and exciting like you would at like a standard Pro Tour, but what you're going to see is a really cool range of decks, and why Modern is the most popular constructed format that it is. You can do a lot of things, you can see a lot of success, and I'm genuinely excited because I think Modern Pro Tours are really fun. It's just one of those formats, right? It's got a lot of history. There's a lot to appreciate.
Definitely. I think it is. I did also appreciate you equating like Boros Energy to Jund. It's like what Jund kind of has to be to exist in a modern day and age. Like it can have some like deck. Broken. Yes. It's like all of its cards are really good, and there's not really a cohesive plan except for like cast your really good cards on curve.
Cast your Guide of Souls into Ocelot Pride, and hopefully you draw Goblin Bombardment.
Sometimes you just like win the game because you curve Ocelot Pride and Guide of Souls together and your opponent can't do anything about it. Sometimes you win games because you put in a Johnny into play and flip it with Goblin Bombardment. Sometimes the game will go long and you'll get to escape a Flage. And how do you beat a swinging 6/6 that lightning helix is in some of these swingier games, in some of these grindier games, right?
The thing is with Boros Energy, very similar to John way back in the 2010s, it's almost solved. And what I mean by that is there's very few flex slots. You normally have like 2 to 4 cards that you can change out in Boros Energy. And the hottest tech at the minute is Helia, Guided by Light from Edge of Eternities, because it's essentially a soul sister, so it gains you life off warp when you have your Guider Souls and your Ocelot Probe. Also, the cool thing about Helia is if she's in play and you cast a Flage, you draw a card because you gain 3 life because of the Lightning Helix effect. So it's just this incremental like value while also having a bit of a card draw engine, which is sometimes you can struggle with in Boros Energy. Sometimes you see players play Seasoned Pyromancer, sometimes you see them play Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Helia seems
just like
to
draw a couple cards.
Yeah, Helia seems to be the latest tech just because you got that warp, so you can cast it for much less and then cast it as a creature later on. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens, but I'm expecting a lot of Tron, and I'm expecting a lot of people to have sideboarding for Tron. So you're going to see Obsidian Charmors in the domain sideboards, for example.
Guided Souls plus Ocelot Pride, that draws a card off Helia too, right?
Yep.
Put 2+1/+1 counters on your first streak life.
Yeah, and you're gaining energy as well, and then you can. It's very,
I can see the vision.
It's Modern Horizons block constructed the deck.
No.
Because Goblin Bob was in Modern Horizons as well, one of the earlier releases. I think the one thing I'm interested with Charbelcher specifically, I don't think we're going to see it at this Pro Tour because I think it's a little risky. I wonder if there's a world if we can get like a more aggressive leaning version of Charbelcher in blue that runs Lady Octopus from Marvel Spider-Man, because that works really well with Lotus Blue. And also, if you're playing a 1-mana legend, does that open up to playing Mox Amber? Because that turns Mox Amber on. So I feel like there's a world where you can have a very aggressive leaning Charbelcher deck that maybe uses Lady Octopus, Mox Amber to really churn out that Lotus Bloom. However, Tamshi is a very busted magic card in that deck, so I'd be surprised if people go off the path of it. I think you're going to see a lot of people just trying to metagame refine rather than innovate.
Yep. And that's and that's the kind of the fun thing too, because like it's been a minute since Modern has been in the spotlight. You know, not a super long time, obviously, since the RC season for this Pro Tour. Yeah. But we have had some sets since then. And it is interesting to see specifically, like I think, like, yes,
Edge of Eternities.
Like specifically Edge of Eternities. Yeah. It seems like there are some Edge of Eternities cards that have started to pop up and into stuff. And then obviously like Ugin Eye of the Storm from Tarkir Dragonstorm made Tron way better than it was.
A sideboard option for Khan in Tron, because it's a board wipe as a colorless. It's very good. So yeah, I'm very excited for the Modern Pro Tour. I'm very curious to see what all the top players are going to be playing, because when it comes to like pro testing teams, it's a little different. It can
get pretty insular pretty quickly.
Insular, but people will stick by their deck. So Gabriel Nassif is obviously going to play some blue-white control deck. He might play something like Esper Blink, but he's not going to be like, what a Team CFB on. He's going, I'm just going to do this thing.
Can't wait to play Belcher.
Yeah. Like...
Yep.
Like people.
No, what's going to happen is all the boomers going to show up with Domain Zoo because they're all obsessed with casting Leyline Binding.
Yeah, like people have their habits when it comes to Modern Pro Tours, because it's modern. They get to play. They actually get to play the things they want to play rather than the best thing, which is what normally happens with like standard and formerly Pioneer Pro Tours. So.
Yep. Well, all right, Emma. Absolutely unfounded prediction. What deck? Let's say what deck will take down the event, and what deck will be the most represented in the top 32?
Top 32. Okay, I'm going to go with Tron for the top 32. An actual
32. More of a real tops. Let's say top 32 constructed.
Okay, I'm going to say Tron as most interested, because pro players just love playing Tron. I think what was the first question again? Sorry.
What'll actually take it down?
What will actually win?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, basically a coin flip. Not exactly a coin flip, but you know, once you get to the top 8, anyone can kind of get there.
Yeah, because it's either going to be Boros Energy or Esper Blink for me.
Esper Blink, I think is what I'm kind of
would not be surprised
towards.
if Amulet Titan wins either. You've got to respect Titan.
Yep. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You got a Titan coming at you.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about that?
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Boros Energy or one of the Esper decks wins, because I think Goyo's is quite good as well as Esper Blink.
Vexing Bauble count in the top 8 too.
Oh, okay. I think we'll see. I think we'll see a lot of Obsidian Charmels, maybe in energy sideboards and domain sideboards.
A lot of Obsidian Charmels.
And a lot of white the white Phantom, the one that blows up lands from Modern Horizons. That one, the one that you flicker. The name escapes me for a second.
Yep. Now, I think like what people would only be concerned about to play Vexing Bauble if they were scared of that weird affinity deck.
Yeah. I mean, it depends if people are going combo heavy, and if people are going combo heavy and busted heavy, Tron doesn't get as good. But if people are getting really fair, then Tron gets really good. Because Quantum Riddler made Modern incredibly fair the second it was printed. So a lot of people were playing Esper Blink, and if you're playing this slowish, drawish control plan, like Tron loves that. It eats that for breakfast.
Well, I think it is one of those really funny things too, where like Quantum Riddler could be a very good Magic card. It could not be the best thing to do. And there are a lot of the Magic the Gathering players, pro and otherwise, who, even if Quantum Riddler is not the best thing to do, they will convince themselves that the card that draws a lot of cards is the best thing to do. Even if the best thing to do is to, you know, be a little boring and play your Guide of Souls into your Ocelot Pride for the 18th month in a row, or to, you know, try to cast the Urza lands into each other and then cast Ugin Eye of Storms on turn 3.
There's been some Azorius like Blink decks that have Quantum Riddler, just cleaning it up and just like blue-white Blink instead. I doubt we'll see that at the Pro Tour at the top tables, but people have been trying. Just saying.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Keep trying. Okay, so that's two people very excitedly talking about the Modern Pro Tour this weekend. One of them much more educated than the other. I'm just passionate, and I'm a little out of the loop.
I'm fortunate
right now,
to keep up with this stuff because my husband's been playing a lot of Modern, so I've been watching a lot of his streams, so that helps a lot.
Sure. So if you are interested in the Pro Tour, watch it this weekend. It'll be a lot of fun. September 26th through the 28th. All right, the Orlando Magic, that's right, the NBA basketball team, have declared the top 5 Magic the Gathering players
Speaking of my husband, let's talk about basketball.
And Magic the Gathering players. Orlando Magic, the National Basketball Association team, put out, classic throwaway engagement bait tweet out on Twitter a few days ago. Who is your favorite Magic player ever? They asked, obviously referring to players who played for the Orlando Magic NBA basketball team. Magic the Gathering players took it upon themselves to do a whole bunch of replying and quote tweeting and all that kind of stuff about who their favorite Magic the Gathering player is of all time. It is funny though. The original tweet said, "Who is your favorite Magic player ever?" And then a lot of the discussion, including the Orlando Magic's follow-up post, was about the top 5 Magic players of all time. Orlando Magic Twitter account got in on the fun. They said the top 5 Magic Gathering players of all time are Kai Buda, John Finkel, PVDDR, that's Paulo Vitor Damarosa. I miss him every day. Luis Scott Vargas. Yeah, shout out to PVDDR to showing up to the last Pro Tour for the first time in forever and being one of 2 people to play the now most broken deck we've had in Standard in a very long time.
Now, I want that flair. I want that aura when it comes to competitive Magic. I want to be that good that I stroll up to a PT, break a format for the next 6 months and disappear again. And go back to my day job at
working
Riot.
on Legends of Runeterra.
Yeah, go back to Riot with my day job. Like, that's an insane flex.
PVDDR, Luis Scott Vargas, LSV, and then Gabriel Nassif. Personally, I posted my favorite Magic player ever, which is one Jerry Thompson. Not the best Magic the Gathering player of all time, but my favorite.
A lot of people. So we're having this conversation because a lot of people have done their top 5, and people really confuse favorite with best. They're very separate things. I think the top 5 that the Orlando Magic clearly pulled from Google and maybe a video or 2 about the best Magic players is largely correct. I think 1 to 5 is pretty sold. I think it gets interesting when you go 6 to 10 though, because I think there's a lot more nuance depending on what you consider a top Magic player of all time. I think everyone has different criteria.
What does your criteria look like, Emma? Or rather, what are the type of criteria you think are there?
So, going to give some context. When people talk about best Magic players of all time, they look at results. Strictly from a results standpoint, and they look from how much stuff have they won? How many PTs have they won? How many top 8s? Is there any world championships, like trophies in there? I think that is part of it, but I think Magic, at least now, has become such a broader thing that I think community sentiment's a big deal. I think how you carry yourself in the space, how you have inspired people to play more Magic, you know, what have you done are you a role model for the game? I think that's the big one. Because you can be the best player in the world, but also be a massive jerk, and people don't like that. So for me personally, that's how I would like frame that. And if that's the case, people like Reduke would be in my top 10. Ken Yukihiro would also be in my top 10, and probably Brian Kibler, to be honest, because he's done a lot to profile the game, even if it's not competitive. He's done a lot to profile competitive Magic by playing Commander on Commander at Home.
And that's like his fourth stage of his very long and illustrious trading card game career.
Right. Yeah. He's had a very strong career in just like developing trading card games and working on them. So that's what it would be for me. But again, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it has to go on ELO rating. It has to go on like win percentage and all this nuanced stuff. And I think that carries stuff because you need to be good to get to that level. But I think there's a lot more to it. Like Reduke's like the best example I can think of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're going like purely results or thinking only about like impact on the competitive side of the game or what have you, I think like this top 5 is pretty close to definitive. Like LSV maybe has like, you know, maybe a little more quibbles on the actual factual results side, but simply actually one of the best Magic the Gathering deck builders of all time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So 100%. Even if that hasn't always translated to, you know, the exact same insane level of results of John Finkel or whatever, right? But it was a lot of fun, a lot of conversation. I have not put the time to think about what my top 5 would be. I just know that Jerry T is my favorite Magic player
so
ever.
I think
and he wins in my mind.
I think that top 5 that the Orlando Magic put out is my top 5. It might switch in a place, maybe. I've been thinking about my 6 to 10, which I haven't quite figured out yet. I put it on Blue Sky. So it's Shuhei Nakamura, is Javier Dominguez, who, by the way, despite being a 2-time world champion, still underrated as a Magic player because he's not American, let's be honest. Like, if he was American, I think it would be a different story. You got Shota, Yoshoka, Seth Manfield, and then Kenji Sumura, who is a player back in the earlier days of Magic, who was like between like 2006 and 2009, Japan was insane at competitive Magic. They just swept the tables, and a great deck builder in his own right.
I think like the conversation is really fun and really tough because like, I don't think there's a definitive top 5. I think there is kind of a definitive like top 8 or top 10. And then where you like, and past a certain point, it's very hard to not just be like 1A, 1B, 1BA, you know?
So JED it's kind of what is another player that I think is severely underrated on the competitive scene. Well, Magic champion. Like, But he's French, so it doesn't.
Yeah,
the profiling in Europe and Japan and the non-American countries is a lot different.
Like, it's honestly, it's impressive. It's impressive that like PVDDR is considered so highly. Yeah. He's like so unassailably awesome, and still people like put him in 3rd place or whatever because he's from South America.
Yeah, it's like I expect Javier Dominguez to top 8 another PT this weekend, and I'd be like, oh gee, this is not surprising at all because guess what? I'm European. I've been watching Javier for a long, long time. Same with Simon Nielsen when he had that tear a couple of years ago, like last year, in fact, when he was like back-to-back Pro Tour top 8s, having these solid finishes. And everyone's like, wow, Simon Nielsen's really good at Magic. It's like, yeah, he's been good for the last 10 years.
Good at Magic.
Like, this is not new to us Europeans. Like, he would clean up GPs like no tomorrow. He would sleep in the first 3 rounds of day 2 and still win a GP. He's called Sleep In Simon for a reason. That is why. And it's like, the guy can miss a couple of rounds of Magic and still win an event. That's how good he is. Like,
and as ever, I think that even if you're like trying to be as objective as possible, looking at results and all this kind of stuff, Magic the Gathering, like what Magic the Gathering is as a competitive game, has meaningfully changed a lot over the last 30 years. Obviously, like, you know, it's very obviously different now than it was 6, 7, 8 years ago when we had the whole SCG circuit for people to gain notoriety on. You know, you could win the Invitational outside of, you know, the normal Magic the Gathering stuff. We had all of the GPs. You know, you go and win a GP, and then suddenly people start talking about you. That's less available now. That kind of stuff is less available now.
The narrative in competitive Magic is a lot harder because there is fewer events.
Yes, it's harder, and I think something that gets overlooked a lot in these kind of discussions around competitive games is that, like, year over year, as games like get more popular, have been around for a longer time, the skill floor to succeed, and also I think probably the skill ceiling to succeed, simply only climbs. Like,
to an extent, yes. One, because the OP system has changed dramatically since. Secondly, the pandemic happened, and I think that also people not being able to play like high level Magic for a couple of years has put some people back. It happens to all of us. Like, I remember playing GPs and doing, you know, playing like 8 rounds of Magic in a day, feeling great. If I do that now, I will need a nap in between like after round 4. If my mental fortitude is not as good as it used to be, sort of thing. So that plays into it as well. Like that people have to kind of relearn and retrain themselves mentally when it comes to playing Magic because lockdowns happened. But it is a shame that while this conversation has been really good, it's positive discourse, which is not something we often see in Magic. Rare win for the community. It's just makes me wish the Hall of Fame was still around. The fact that this Wizards have like retired the Hall of Fame is a huge shame, because I think you could definitely bring it back with a slight spin for like community and like role model as well as competitive prowess, and I think it would go down well. It's also a really good way to profile competitive Magic, and it gives something for people to work towards, which is there isn't enough of that right now. So
I definitely agree. And these are the kind of conversations I think which are just like some good harmless fun. Usually when you're talking about like who the best are, and when there's at least some amount of an unassailable like top 15 or whatever.
I always enjoy when Pro Tours and Worlds happen, people do like their fantasy league of like they pick their players and like stuff like that is also quite fun. But like, yeah, in terms of like best players, like Wafu Tapper and Adel and Hugh Jensen are also players that don't get enough attention in my opinion, because been in the game long enough. Like, one of them works for Wizards now, so they're not going to get that attention.
Huey won't be competing anytime soon.
No, but he's not going to get that attention because he's very behind the scenes, so people aren't going to think about him in that way anymore. But yeah, it's a great conversation. It feels like you can get 10 people in a room to talk about it and you'll get 20 different opinions. It's that kind of thing, and I think that's great.
Yep. And Magic the Gathering, please bring back the Hall of Fame, because we've had too much positive discussion about who's good at playing Magic the Gathering. We need to bring back the toxic hellscape that was Hall of Fame voting season.
God, yeah, I forgot about that actually. It's a good shout.
And also bring back some more Hall of Fame PT invites. One a year, I think, is not enough.
Agree. I think it should be
but
two.
That's just me. I think it should be all of them.
I agree it should be all of them, but knowing Wizards,
I get why they don't want to have like a very variable amount of like anywhere from 0 to like 40 extra people show up at a
not to mention like logistically it's a nightmare, and Yep. 48
players, yes, when it ended. 48 players.
Rejuke was the last one.
As I say, the final player with 94% of the vote.
It had to be Reed. I think like the fact that it took that long for Reed to get in the Hall of Fame that's actually kind of a crime. Like Ken Yukihiro is another one. I think that he should be in the Hall of Fame, especially now after his PT win.
I was about to say the weaknesses of the Hall of Fame will now continue to be shown as, you haven't inducted anyone since 2019.
Yeah, I do hope in like at least Huey's like future that there's an idea to bring that back, because I think Pro Magic needs something right now, and I think a Hall of Fame, because they talk about it on Courage like this person's a Hall of Fame. I'm like, great, what is it?
Yeah,
what does this mean to somebody who is new to the game? Like, what does this mean?
If you are an old head,
yeah,
you would know. But if you're not an old head, then you simply would not know.
I get that you have to highlight it, but I don't understand why we're not highlighting it if we can't also advertise it, if that makes sense. From the marketing brain's kicking in now, apologies, but it's just like...
Oh, yes, definitely.
I love Pro Magic, and I've been watching like Pro Magic since 2014, which is a very long time.
That's about as long as I've been watching, too.
Yeah, and it's just like... It's one of the best things about Magic, and it's just so poorly marketed. And I don't think it's entirely Wizards' fault, but they could definitely do more as well.
I agree. Well, on that note, that's been too much positive discussion about Magic the Gathering. It's time for us to go on to the portion of the show where we talk about all of those brand new shiny Magic the Gathering cards that you can buy. It's time for the product watch.
Did you think about Dan when you said that? Because I did.
I did.
Yeah, me too.
I did. Yeah. We miss him every day. He's not dead. He just didn't want to be here.
He just wants to be in the woods. Like, can't blame him.
The product watch is brought to you by Card Conduit, your home for easily buy listing Magic the Gathering cards. Card Conduit keeps track of all of those pesky, different, hot buy lists so you don't have to, and make sure you get the top buy list dollar for your cards you send in. I have even been surprised while doing it myself. Sometimes there are vendors out there in the world who will pay you more for a Magic the Gathering card than the lowest price on TCG Player. How about that? You just send them all the cards you want to send in one easy, convenient package, and then after a couple business days, you will get back a direct deposit, a PayPal check, a physical check in the mail. Pretty much however you can be paid, they will pay you that way. And if you use the code HORN at checkout, they will know that we sent you. And also, you will get 10% off of your fees. Thank you so much, Card Conduit. Product watch this week. Spider-Man Secret Lairs. They came out yesterday at time of recording. It's Tuesday. They came out yesterday on Monday. As of recording, they are not fully sold out.
They're low stock, right? I know they were low stock in Europe because I got the email, but I don't know what it's like in the US.
Here in the US, they have Heroic Deeds foil left, and they have non-foil and foil breaking news, like the Bugle, the Daily Bugle newspaper ones. And I think Heroic Deeds foil was low stock, but neither foil or non-foil of the breaking news ones were low stock.
I'm not surprised.
Interestingly enough, I'm not surprised either, but I thought of all of the Secret Lairs, that one to me kind of had like the second most sauce. Like, obviously, I think like the sauciest one was the Venom one, which had cool
was
art,
sell either way, because I don't think people realize
it had Damnation in it.
Viral.
It had Dark Ritual in it.
Yeah.
It had cool black and white ink art available. Like, if I was going to buy one of them, it was going to be that one.
Venom,
but then
if
I was going to buy another one, yes,
Venom
exactly. Very popular character.
Popular.
Yes. I kind of wanted to buy the Daily Bugle newspaper ones, but that's because I've become a fan of Magic cards that don't look like Magic cards.
I mean, they're well executed. I just think the card choices are bad.
Yes. I kind of like the card choices. Like, obviously there's no value in there, but Blasphemous Act, Impact Tremors.
Trouble in Pairs was right there.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Instead of Scheming Symmetry?
Yeah, like the Scheming Symmetry is actually worth something, I think.
Yes, it is. It is the value of that. It is the only valuable card in that one.
The one I wouldn't have personally.
Oh, sure.
But Troubles in Pairs would have been a great one. It's like a $20, $25 card. It has a troubled history with the artist as well. I imagine Wizards would love to reprint that in a way. And like in terms of like character to card layout, it does work. But yeah, the Venom one selling out is not a surprise because it's Venom. It's a surprisingly more loved character than I thought, to be honest, considering my very lapsed experience with Marvel.
I think Venom is like another one of those characters that really is the favorite Marvel character of the girl who wears cookie pajama, like Cookie Monster pajama pants.
And I think a lot of people bought the Dark Ritual because they saw the Frank Frazetta Dark Ritual that's $110 and go, you know what, I'm going to make that back as well because it's Dark Ritual. And it's like,
it's Dark Ritual.
Probably not. You're going to get something back, but I don't think it's going to be that much.
It's another cool varietal of Dark Ritual. Damnation is there. That's the first major reprinting of Damnation since Double Masters 2022. And that it's like it was worth like $13 or something like that. Peer into the Abyss, first reprint ever. It's not an expensive card, but it was the first reprint for Peer into the Abyss. And so like if people absolutely hate the original art, which I don't blame them if they dislike that body horror monstrosity, it's at least like a much more pedestrian art, even if you're not into Marvel. So that was like an interesting. I was amazed to log onto the website this morning checking stock to see Villainous Plots sold out. Listener at home, let me walk you through the card list of Villainous Plots. Soul Ring, sure, whatever. It's a Soul Ring with Doc Ock on it. I get why people would like that. It's kind of a fun art because like the classic ring symbol is made up out of an explosion being caused by Doc Ock. Cool. It's cool. It has Command Tower on it with Green Goblin on it. It's Oscorp Tower. Sure, I get why people are into that. Electro Lightning Greaves, unfortunately, does have the sauce. Like if Electro is a cool Marvel character, Lightning Greaves is always going to be playable. The last two cards in this, okay, and to fully lay the table here, these three cards are also in the Heroic Deeds set in the Secret Lair. So we got two Secret Lairs that have three of the same 5 cards in them to begin with. One has the good guys on it, one has the bad guys on it. At least the Heroic Deeds other cards are like at least moderately playable. They're not great, but they're fine. The two cards from the Villainous Plots are Go for the Throat and Deadly Dispute in a $30 product.
Are you going to blame me for one of those? Because
yeah, you even banned Deadly Dispute and Popper, Emma. You did that personally.
I do wish
so you can't even play Deadly Dispute in the format it's best in.
Because they printed it in Final Fantasy and they printed it in the Sonic set as well, in the Sonic Secret Lair. It's just like, can we stop printing Deadly Dispute?
It's a Secret Lair
Can we have like Fanatical offering or something instead that's becoming like a $3 common? Like just something standard playable as well. That would be great.
Well, Deadly Dispute has gotten
a lot of printings.
Has gotten 4 premium printings this year. Frank Frazetta 2, because it was in that as well.
Oh, yes, it was.
Final Fantasy Through the Ages, and then, like you said, Sonic. Mm-hmm. Which is, why? What are we doing here?
It's really awkward that we banned
Deadly
it
Dispute,
now, huh?
Well, it's like, Deadly Dispute, it's at least like, I'm sure Deadly Dispute sees play in a lot of random Black Commander decks. Whatever. Sure. Fine. It's a strong card. Except for Classic, the Frank Frazetta one is $6. It's never going to have a ton of value. But man, Go for the Throat. Are you kidding me?
It's especially awkward now. It's just rotated out of the Brothers War as well. Like, you can't even play it in standard. I wish that was like Long Goodbye or something instead. I don't know.
Go for the Throat is a perennial card that you would stick, like, you have it in your deck box, your big long box of cards that you're like, I would put that in a commander deck, and then it never makes the cut. It stays there.
Yeah, it's like, he's playing Pioneer, but no one's really playing Pioneer, so it's kind of awkward. I think my take when it comes to Secret Lairs is that we need less Soul Rings and Command Towers.
Yes, 17th and 16th Secret Lair printings, respectively.
Totally cool as bonus cards. I think that's fine, but if you're putting it in the actual product of a like you're advertising it, I think the fact that we're so commander pilled with secret lair stuff is actually kind of damaging the card choices a little. Like, I was looking through, because I'm building Abzan Nightmare in Canadian Highlander, I was looking to see if there was a natural order secret lair printing. There is not. That would be a really cool one to see as a secret lair. It's the kind of card that Wizards could reprint. And it's, it has some value on it. And
outside of Mystery Booster 2, I don't think we've seen it since Mystical Archive.
Yeah, since Strixhaven. Yeah. And people will want a nice version of natural order because the original printing doesn't have a great artist on it, and people will spend that money.
You leave Alan Rabinowitz alone. That guy going, ah! I know that's not the original printing.
I love the pool. The
portal one is so
Green Giant is my
funny.
favorite. I'm on about the Therese Nielsen one.
It's yes. The Visions,
like the popular one. Just say.
Yes.
But yeah, I just wish
Visions
there was less...
and Judge and Eternal Master.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Like I wish there was less Command Towers and Soul Rings. Like, switch it up with an Arcane Signet, for Christ's sake. Like, something. It just feels so boilerplate that it's got to the point it feels kind of lazy, but they can get away with the laziness because they know people will buy it.
Exactly. Like, they can get away with it because, okay, you're trying to make a Magic the Gathering card to sell to people that has Dr. Octopus on it. What card is the universal playable?
To play like, cool, I want to build a villains Marvel Spider-Man deck. Yes, I need my villains Soul Ring.
Exactly.
I kind of get it, but I just wish there was a bit more creativity.
Me too. Like, I get it from the Wizard side because they're like, all right, we need to sell this. We need to sell a secret lair. What is the most universal playable card in the way that Magic the Gathering is now these days? It's probably Soul Ring. Cool, let's put Doc Ock on a Soul Ring. It'll sell like hotcakes. We can put Go for the Throat in there.
Like, I get it because it's Marvel and it's going to be multiple sets with multiple villains in it, so you're going to eventually have this 5-color villains deck, which is, I imagine, is going to be cool to some people, but I just kind of wish we made bonus cards like how Sonic did it, where you had Command Tower as the bonus card, and then you had the Lotus Petals, Chaos Emeralds as like the super rare ones. I wish Wizards would use the bonus sheet as like an extra card, like actually as like an extra card in the secret lair, instead of just advertising Soul Rings and Command Towers. But then again, I'm not the target audience for secret lairs.
No, yeah, exactly. And I'm not either anymore. I kind of used to be. I buy some secret lair singles.
I buy singles.
If it looks crazy enough, I'll buy it because that's what I want out of a secret lair.
I buy singles to look because
as messed up as possible.
Financially, the sensible thing to do for me.
Yes.
Personally. But like, I get it. Like, but let's just do something better than Soul Ring and Deadly Dispute.
I think the thing that frustrates me the most about this is that, like, it pretty much just proves the obvious known thing that we've all known for a long time, is that, like, Magic the Gathering players of some form or fashion will consume whatever Wizards put in front of them, like, if it just has the right image on it or whatever.
It's a marketing thing. Like, secret lairs, it's just marketing testing for the last 6 years. It's just testing the waters, selling stuff to consumers. It's not anything surprising. I would love to see more Pauper secret lairs, though, because we had the artifact lands ages ago. The mirrored in artifact.
Those are so expensive now. I just bought those because I liked them. Those really I think cool. Those were some of the last full secret lairs that I bought. The Darksteel Citadels, when I sold them, were $55.
And
it's insane.
At Paupergeddon back in June, people were playing them. People will actually buy and play them. They were playing them in their decks and stuff. So,
and I think Pauper Bling is a great place to aim.
Agreed.
Okay, yeah. TCG player, near mint, non-foil, Darksteel Citadel from the Pixel Secret Lair dropped $23. Near mint foil. The price has been cratering seemingly in the last 2 months for some reason. It's down to a whopping $40.
Yeah,
still. And I know Seed of the Synod isn't that far behind.
Great Furnace is up there. That's one of the more expensive ones because it sees Commander play. But yeah, Secret Lair Bling is not Secret Lair Bling. Pauper Bling is people will buy it because if there's one trope in Pauper, there is someone with a foiled out Pauper deck, and it's 10 times the value of the actual deck itself.
I was about to say it's like a $800 popper deck instead of a $75 popper deck.
Yeah, like the basic lands are worth more than the deck itself. I am at fault for that because I also have some expensive basic lands in my pauper decks. But it's a good audience to hit, and I hope Wizards do more of it. I know Pauper's a little different compared to something like Commander, but it would be great to get more stuff that isn't just a banned Pauper card in Deadly Dispute.
Well, and I think the kicker is that like there are plenty of playable Pauper cards that are also, just like playable Commander cards too. The overlap is, outside of maybe a lot of the creature base, because creatures in Pauper are weird. A lot of the spells in Pauper are pretty much just like some of the best, most iconic spells of all time, and it would not be hard to put that into a secret lair. Give me a sick like Nihil Spellbomb. I don't know if they've ever done that. They probably have.
They haven't.
I've
They've done
they
did the retro frames in the Brothers War Commander precons.
Yes, I know. Like Ichor Wellspring. I'm sure that's the bling choice for many.
They had
for Ichor Wellspring.
There's a Brothers War version, like the retro artifacts one.
Yeah, the retro frame.
I have those. But yeah, just stuff like Malevolent Rumble from MH3 would be a really cool one to have as a secret lair card. Cool Skyfisher would also be a great one. Counterspell. People can't have enough different versions of Counterspell. Ephemerate would also be a great one, in my opinion, because that sees a lot of play in Modern.
I need a sick Gutter Snipe that like isn't the retro frame one. I know there's like the M19.
There's the
Game Day promo
I was gonna say,
or
there's
whatever.
The Game Day promo, right?
Yeah. Which is kind of fun. I like the old version of,
and there's like
I love that
surprised.
2013 through M19 version of full arts.
Fairy
I like those a
Macabre
lot.
is another great one that could get a secret lair print. That card's like going up to like $5-6 now as a common because people play it in Pauper, and it's also a fairy, so people will buy it because they like fairies. And like,
give me the craziest Tolarian Terror art of all time, and you'll have my money.
I want Mental Notes, actually, Secret Lairs as well.
Oh, sure,
like
yeah.
Stuff like Mental Notes.
Has those ever really been reprinted since Visions? Yeah.
It's Judgment, I believe, they're printed in.
Okay, sure.
They've had the one printing because Wizards printed Thought Scour, which is the fixed Mental Note, basically. So there's no reason to reprint it in a set. So you can reprint it in a Secret Lair or in a Mystery Booster set. But yeah, I just want Wizard. I know it's a harder sell to like the people at Hasbro. Because, we're going to sell some commons, fancy commons for people because they're not going to put 2 and 2 together. But I just hope Wizards do more of that because people do buy them. Like the Artifact Lands were such a hit because there's some Commander overlap in there as well. So stuff like
and I'm sure like there's like some more.
I think Ephemerate would be a really good one.
Oh,
like really nice Ephemerate would go down really well.
I'm sure like too, like I don't know, like bring over the awesome Christopher Moeller blast art, like blue blast and red blast from
Pyro and Hydros
Mitgo.
would be great, would be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Like new Hydro Blast.
You're gonna get
new
legacy
Pyro
players
Blasts.
for those as well. So you got that. You got like CDH people. You got the
I do gotta say, Secret Lair, there has been so much CEDH bait directly in Secret Lairs. There's gotta be some space for some Pauper bait in there as well. I do have great news though, Emma. If you just so happened to want to buy the still in stock Heroic Deed Secret Lair, you could get your wish and get a Secret Lair Ephemerate featuring Spider-Man swinging on it. And that's all we have for this episode of the Herald's Horn podcast.
Sure. That is a really weird one to have as a secret lair for Spider-Man.
I would agree. But for all of us here at the Herald's Horn podcast, I've been Cal Jones. That's Emma Partlow. We will see you again in 2 weeks. Emma, do you have anything else you'd like to leave the listeners with before we go?
I do have something quite important. So this week is Fat Bear Week. Please vote on the Bears. I have done my votes today, and so should you.
I will put a link to that in the description. But hey, everyone, thanks so much for being here. That's all we have for this week. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.